What is up, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about why 90% of people will never see results in the gym. We're going to break down what's the reason for this and what you can do to be in that 10% as opposed to the 90%. Let's go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. Alright guys, quickly before we start, this video is brought to you by yours truly, Fledge Fitness and the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. If you haven't gotten yours yet, what are you waiting for? With an ergonomic design, aluminum handle, and swivel design, you can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. You can click on the link down in the description box below, and of course, as always guys, thank you so much for your support. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the video. All right, so I always get questions regarding the gym, right? Because this is one of the things that people want to do sometimes, but just can't wrap their heads around what to do first or how to even do it. It's not rocket science in terms of getting it initiated and getting that ball rolling. You could essentially do all of the different workouts that work out different parts of your body. Don't think of any specific equipment or machine as anything special. If you're doing bench press, you're working your chest. If you're doing dips, you're working your triceps and the bottom portion of your chest. As long as you can trigger different muscle groups, you don't have to really worry so much about what's the new cool kind of way to work out. You can keep it simple and basic and you will see results. Now, here's the reason why 90% of people don't see results. And maybe it should have been titled why 90% of people don't see the results that they want to see. Because what ends up happening when you first go to the gym, there's a few things. If you haven't gone to the gym in a long time, if you're detrained, if you're going to the gym for the first time ever, those two things can trigger something that's unique during that beginning stage. So if you've never gone to the gym before and you start going to the gym, you're going to start working out, doing some stuff. You're not really going to know what you're doing. You're going to get some advice from somebody. But what's going to end up happening is you're going to see muscle growth. You're going to see noticeable muscle growth. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you this positive feeling that what you're doing is bringing you or pushing you in the right direction. But here's the thing. When it comes to fitness and dieting and health and losing weight and building muscle and hypertrophy, people try to create this black and white or level-based approach where they say, well, if I saw this result in this amount of time, so then all I have to do is continue this and it will continue to multiply. But that is not at all how exercise and especially hypertrophy, which is the growth of your muscle tissue and muscle fibers, that is not how that works at all. What ends up happening is that because you've never worked out, there's this initial shock to your muscles, to your twitch fibers, to your muscle fibers. There's this initial shock and this rapid growth of your muscle because of that initial shock. Your body is like, whoa, what is this? You're gonna be sore like crazy, but your muscles are going to start to grow. Then you're gonna say to yourself, wow, this is amazing. I'm gonna keep doing this. And then hopefully at the same rate, I start growing my muscle. But there's only so much muscle that the human body can build already. And a huge percentage of that happens in your first year. After that, it starts to drop in percentage by about 50% every year. So every year you're growing less and less muscle. The closer you are to your peak, the slower it is for your muscles to actually grow. So if you're all the way down here, your muscles are going to grow much faster. If you're over here, your muscles are going to grow much slower. And if you're over here, your muscles are going to grow really, really slow. So think of it as the inverse of acceleration. If you were trying to accelerate from 0 to 250 miles per hour, think of it as going from 250 miles per hour to 0. As you get closer to 0, the car is going to be slower. Think of muscle growth like that. You're instantly going super fast and you're actually slowing down until you reach 0, which would be your peak. Most people, 99.9% of people won't ever hit their peak, but as you're getting closer to it, regardless of how far you are, it's going to slow you down. And what ends up happening is that when people hit this plateau, or what they think is a plateau because they're not seeing that rapid growth that they saw in the beginning, they then try to trick their muscles or do some kind of wacky kind of thing to get their muscles to get shocked again or confused. A lot of people like to use that whole confuse your muscle thing, but really basic exercises that trigger all the different muscle groups with continual restructuring of your form and technique while continuing to increase the resistance will grant you the hypertrophy that you need. Nothing else needs to be done after that. But when you do all these other tricky kind of confusing stuff to confuse your muscles, you also don't see any progress. And a lot of people at this point just do not have the grit to keep on pushing for the incremental muscle growth. For you to see something drastic after 2 to 3 years because you've been working out for so long. Most people just can't give that much consistency, which is why 90% of people don't see the results that they want to see when they go to the gym. Not to mention, there's also a barrier where if you're not providing the sufficient amount of nutrients, you're just not going to see the reciprocating results because there isn't enough protein, for example, coming in. And that lends to protein synthesis, which continues to help you build muscle. Also, many people want to build muscle and just lose weight all the time at the same time. Sometimes when people are thinking to themselves, I'm going to build muscle, they sometimes also think, well, I also want to lose this body fat that I have. And while you can gain muscle and lose fat depending on what situation you're in, if you're detrained, if you just started in the gym, it still limits the amount of muscle that you can build if you're not at a caloric surplus, because being at a caloric surplus is part of elevating your protein synthesis. Caloric surplus, meal frequency, and protein consumption, those things allow for you to build muscle and push you further, especially as you get closer and closer towards your peak. What ends up happening is that you have to be more and more rigid. You do have to know how much protein you're taking in. You do have to try to create progressive overload with your resistance training. You do have to try to create meal frequency just to keep pushing that protein synthesis so that you can grow. So the moral of the story is that most people just stop before they even get to that point where they're seeing the difference. And getting to that point means incredible amount of patience, because because the changes are going to be below that just noticeable difference. You got that super change in the beginning and you're expecting that again, and you will never get that super change again. The only thing close to this that you'll ever see is if you work out for a long time and you stop working out for a long time and then you come back. Because of muscle memory and satellite cells, for a short period of time, you'll be kind of getting back to where you were before, where you left off. So those are the only 2 times that you'll see like drastic change right before your eyes. So hopefully this video has helped you guys. And of course, as always, I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to go ahead and put their names right up here. And as always, guys, I'll see you on Sunday for another FAQ. Peace!